Today we're meant to be here for a title-winning party, but it feels a little bit more like a wake because we all know if we get promoted today, it's going to mean almost certain doom next season. So here we are, we've got 3 games left to play of the Slovenian second division season. Alemannia have risen to second place with a game played more than the team down in third, but it's really that third place team that we're keeping an eye on today. They're currently 7 points behind us. If they win their game, that will cut that to 4, but if we're winning at the same time, we will preserve a 7-point lead. We'll also go 9 points clear of Alemannia, and there's only 6 to play for, so we will be 7 points clear of second place, 9 points clear of third, and there will be no turning back. We will have sealed ourselves an unlikely promotion to the top flight. Remember, the media had us down as predicted as 14th place finishers this season. It looks like we're going to come out on top, which will mean the end of our affiliate link with Domžale, whose youth facilities we enjoy, and it will mean we'll be coming bottom of the top flight next season, and yours truly will be looking at the sack. We've played just 1 game since our last episode when you saw us losing to Belia, our first defeat since early September. In the next game, we took on the North American Free Trade Agreement, and it was a tight and nervy affair. Playing away against NAFTA, we relied on Levech to score, but that was the only goal in a narrow 1-0 win. We scored in the 18th minute and then literally hung on for the rest of the game. We were behind on the XG. Our opponents had opportunities to equalise. We've looked decidedly shaky over the last 6 games with only 2 wins, both of them being very narrow 1-0 victories. We are a long way away from the fluid run of form that saw us beating sides 6-0. We are now grinding out draws and wins. We're trying to throw away the title, but the teams below us aren't doing their bit. Let's show you the players that we're going to be relying on today, as well as showing you what we've worked out about them so far. So we're going with a little tweak of tactic for today's game. We've looked pretty sterile and pretty stale over the last 6 games, so we're going to try and mix things up a little bit. Although we'd rather stay in this division for a couple more seasons and enjoy the continued use of Domžale's youth facilities, we've got to play the game with integrity. We can't be throwing results. So we're going to go out there for the win. And the little tweak we've made is to switch our wide players up again. They were wingers. We've now moved them back to inverted or inside forwards. And we're going to ask Gajic to cut in from the left. And we're going to ask Levech to cut in from the right. Now, he's left-footed and he's not used to really playing on this side of the pitch. It was going to be a big ask for him, but he's performed well since the winter break. And we want to keep him in the side. And let's show you some of the players who are going to be with us next season that have really impressed me so far this, and see what we've learnt about them. Ajiga Firmishek is our only goalkeeper at the club. The one that came through the youth intake is not going to be available for another year. And even when he is, I don't think he's that good. I'm pretty pleased that the keeper we do have has been really solid. The personality may only be balanced. Doesn't look like he's training very well either, but he's been really solid. He did get a case of the old floppy wrists during one YouTube episode, but his mistakes this season have been few and far between, so we're very happy with him. In the defence, our star players have been Makovic and Daciman, neither of which could be with us next season. Little Timmy Zidane has been fine, but I think it's actually Darko Mitrovic that has been the best. He's only just had his 20th birthday. He's very good in the air for someone who's 6'2", and he's improved his concentration over training in the recent months. So that's pretty positive. The technique isn't very good, apparently, and he's one-footed, but I think he's been a bit of a star man at the defence this season. Kunstl may well retire or leave, because he still won't sign a contract, and I'm reasonably happy with Kaznic and Kiglar in midfield. I do like having this little schemer in there. He's got the ability to spot a pass. He's also reasonably quick. We're at work on his second trait that we're training into him during the course of this season. And if next year he's able to both switch the ball to wide areas and play some killer balls, That will be useful in the middle of the park. And then up front, I think all three of these players will be pretty decent at the level above next season. And we've got two reasonable backups. One of them is meant to have been one of our star players, Christian Šípek, made it into the 50 or so players that the media announced at the start of the season people should be keeping an eye on. We've never really nailed down a position where he's played well this season, and he's been a little inconsistent, even though he doesn't list that as one of his negative traits. But also, we do have Dino Zenkovic as an auxiliary wide player as well. He could go up front at a push if we needed him to. He's blown hot and cold a little this season, but I've got no qualms about taking him up to the top flight. But I think the man that we're going to be looking for next season, if we're in the top division, is going to be Simon Grigorin, who scored 12 goals in 25 games this season. Bearing in mind he's played the first third of the season out on the wing, that's not a bad ratio. It says he's not got the best long shots, but other than that, and the fact that he doesn't enjoy big matches like the one I'm forcing him out to play today, he is very consistent. It also says somewhere down here that he's a decent dribbler and is fairly quick, and I do like his personality, so I think he could be another good proposition in the division above if we can just navigate today's game and get to the promised land. It's not going to be an easy tie. We've got a pretty tricky opponent. Let's show you what we know in the Scout Report. Promore were predicted to finish 5th this season, but heading into the last day find themselves 8th in the table. But they have dangerous players in the form of winger Amel Duzdanovic, as well as Brazilian flair in the form of Leo Principe. Coach Milan Andolkovic is in his first year in the job, and he'll be hoping to mastermind a victory that spoils the party as Promore travel to Dob. And so we are underway. The players have looked decidedly nervous over the last few games. We've lost any kind of fluency before. We were really aggressive and taking the game to teams. At the moment, we're struggling to break them down. We are conceding some very sloppy goals. As we get closer to sealing that title, the players seem to be getting more and more jittery. And today, we're taking on a Promore side who are pretty decent themselves. So this is not going to be easy. I'm hoping the tactical tweaks we've made might just give us a little bit more impetus as we have a chance early. The drifts wide of the goal. We're coming at them again, though. In the 13th minute of the game, we seem to be making a lot of the running. We've had a corner that came to nothing, and now we've launched a hopeless ball forward, which we're going to have to try and win and build up again from the back. Here is little Zidane. Levech now drifting out wide. We're asking him to play an unfamiliar role today on behalf of the new tactic that we've developed so that Grigorin can come back in as striker. But he's blasted that effort over the bar, but we're looking pretty good in the early stages. The team meeting that we had went well. The pre-match team talk went well as well. So you never know, the boys might surprise us today and actually put in a performance. Gajic is raiding down the left-hand side now. He wants to cut back on his right all of the time. Instead, he gives it to Makovic and then Kiglar. And Nechlavec has an effort that's deflected off the heels of the defender. And we're going to go for a corner this time. Our last one was really disappointing. What can Gajic do this time? He's found Jack. Oh, I thought it was in. He found Dachman, who flicked a header towards goal. But it's all us at the moment. We're only in the 16th minute. Now it's an indirect free kick. And Dachman's there again. He's hit the post this time. And I thought he was going to send it back across the box. Instead, he gives it to old man Kunstel, who was napping on the edge of the box. And Kaznic has to win the ball back for him and is driving to the line. Here is Kiglar, and we're forced out of it again. We've won a free kick, though. We are pressing for this opening goal. Who's going to be the man on the ball? It is old Clem. Has he got any old magic left in those boots? He hasn't. Instead, he absolutely obliterates the poor person in the wall. And it comes to nothing. Now it's Makovic. We're back in our own half with Zidane. We go long. We've won the ball, though. Gajic shanks one into the crowd. This is the best that we've looked in ages. We've had 12 shots during the first 28 minutes. Promore haven't had anything yet, but we still find ourselves at 0-0, and they only need one attack to puncture our good start to the game, as Kasnic has a golden opportunity. He was unmarked. He was past the penalty spot. He's headed it wide. That's 13 shots. 5 of them have been on target. And still, we don't have a breakthrough. But we've got plenty of time. We just need to keep doing the right things. Here's Mitrovic. Acres of space. Gives the ball to old man Clem in midfield. And then Grigorin. He's dropped deep. Kasnic has gone ahead of him. We're playing the ball pretty patiently through midfield. Now we spread it out to little Timmy. To the King. Back to Timmy. Zidane's in the crowd. He's ever so proud. It could be a title for his young nephew Timmy. But we've got to find that breakthrough goal first. Kasnic turns smartly. Feeds Makovic, who's galloping down the flank. Just play the right ball in. He does. And Grigorin, who I've brought back into the team for today's game, after I dropped him after a pretty wretched run of form, just flicks a header towards goal. I think the keeper got plenty on this one, but he has just dollied it into the back of his own net, and God bless him for doing so, because with 32 minutes played, we found the opening goal. Now can we press on and find the second that's going to bring the title back to Dob? The last time Dob were promoted, they were denied promotion. They won the second tier and for some reason didn't go into the division above. But if we win today, there's no stopping us, as Dachman scores what could be his last goal for the club. Remember, Dachman is one of our players who are on loan and may well not be joining us again for next season, but he's given us a 2-0 lead, 16 shots, 8 on target, 17 shots, 8 on target at the half-time. We have absolutely turned up for this game. As we start the second half, we've got the league table up on screen now. Looks like we're going to be 9 points clear with only 2 games left. The team who are down in third that had the game in hand are losing 1-0 to NAFTA. So not only are we doing our bit, but they're not even going to be taking it down to the final 2 games of the season, because they are currently losing, and we're looking very, very good in our game. Only Jaka Kasnic is scoring below a 7 so far. In fact, on 65 minutes, I think we can treat ourselves to some substitutions, because we've not had a shot during this second half yet. We might need to freshen things up. The subs have been made. We've brought a couple of fresh faces onto the pitch, and we've also dropped back to our lower tempo tactic just to see if we can control the game a little bit more, maybe invite the opposition onto us and try and score a third on the break. We've brought Avbelge on for Clem because he was starting to look pretty tired at the base of our midfield diamond. It means we've substituted a 6'2" defensive midfielder for a 5'4" defensive midfielder. And Giga, who was at the start of the season branded our best player because he made it into the media dream team, well, he's not really been that involved this season, but he's got a little chance to come on for the title party. The other sub that's come on is Krupic. He's another on-loan player from Domžale. He's been lightly raced this season, but he's entered the fray as well. He's had an effort that's won us a corner, and as we swing the ball in, Dachman goes for his second of the game. The keeper saves it easily. We do have a little effort for the opposition, though, and we've conceded a number from direct free kicks this season. This would make the end of the game nervous if it goes in, and it struck the crossbar. I do not know how to keep these direct free kicks at bay, by the way, because I think it's about 5 of them that we've conceded so far this campaign as we look to make some more changes. Kiglar would be our third change in midfield. He's not performing too well, but we've also got a booking and some tired legs in the centre of defence. So I think the change that we're going to make is to bring on Petek for Dachman and just give ourselves a little bit of fitness at the heart of the defence to try and see out this final 10 minutes of the game. We might even get to see our young players climb the podium and lift the trophy. Let's see whether it gives us that moment, and indeed it does. They have sawn in half a massive bicycle tyre, erecting it in the centre circle, along with some, looks like some corrugated iron that they've made a makeshift podium out of. And we hand the trophy over to Clement Kunstel and at the age of 41, he's got what is rather a large shield that he's somehow got to balance and then hoist above his head. And as he does, oh my goodness, who paid for all of this? We've got confetti, we've got fireworks. This looks like it's cost an absolute fortune. Alan, are you behind this? So where do we stand on this then, folks? Are we delighted that we've got promoted to the top tier of Slovenian football, or are we mortified that we're going to be playing at a higher level, which is going to mean the cancellation of our agreement with our parent club, potentially the loss of our youth facilities which we share with them, and almost certain relegation and sacking when we come back for our next episode of your new favourite FM23 series to find out just how bad things are going to get as we join the top flight.